We are now in book 3 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and Carl still does not have pants. Today we're going to talk about the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook and what Carl and Princess Donut have been up to. So, they are now on level 4, and level 4 is like this crazy cluster fork of trains, all kinds of trains. Newer trains, older steam locomotive trains. It's like this crazy subway system called the Iron Tangle. There's all these different lines. Up is down, down is up. Everything is all crazy and chaos. Monsters get on and off the trains at regular intervals. And it's like, why are they even getting on the trains? Half the time they seem like they're stoned and what's going on. We don't even know. So Carl and Donut, they've leveled up pretty well. They have a good level for the level they're going to be on because each level that they progress into gets harder and harder, and they're still with Katia, who had joined them, and she was one of the other groups in the dungeon is Brynhild's daughters, and the leader of that group is Hekla. She kind of asked Carl and Donut to watch out for her and to have Katia in their group until they can find her and meet up again. And so Katia's been with them, and she has a very interesting class where she's kind of like this weird, she's like Play-Doh. She can rearrange her body to do different things. She's very tanky. So I want to call her a shapeshifter, but she's not quite a shapeshifter, but she is. But it's hard for her to change into other things and imitate other people and this, that, and the other. And so as she progresses, she gets a bit better at this, but it hurts her when she does this and like rearranging her body shape and all this stuff. And it was advised to her by her like guild master at first, which was a weird suggestion, but if she can master it, Mordecai, who is their guild master, Carl and Donuts, thinks that it'll be actually a pretty good class to have, but it's just really hard to get used to. So she's with Carl and Donut until she can somehow find Brynhild's daughters and meet up with them in this crazy Iron Tangle. But everything is so like convoluted and weird in this whole crazy subway system going on that the lines don't make sense. There's colors, there's different names of different trains, like the Nightmare line and the Abyss line and all this other stuff, and like where the different things go. There's these weird giant rooms with these like huge robots that almost look like Transformers, but no one really knows what they're for, and they're not combatant at the current time because they're just deactivated and just kind of sitting there. So like, what's the purpose of these rooms? There doesn't really seem to be one. And so like the first mystery, I guess, is trying to solve like why the monsters are getting on and off the trains. So that's kind of weird. Like they get on at a certain station, they get off at a certain station. And there's certain stations they say you shouldn't go past because something weird happens. And what it seems like is these trains are like going through portals and then being ported back to the beginning of the line. But like, why is this happening and whatnot? It seems like eventually, though, everyone's going to have to work together to actually get out of this because it's just something I don't think one person could figure out. So as they progress, and even though they have bounties on their heads, which makes it harder for Carl and Donut to know who the heck to trust in all of this and what's going on, they decide that they want to start like having more people in their chat so that they can all help each other and be like, hey, this is this with this line, and try to like get a map going and figure out what's going on and what could possibly be at the end, like with the stairways that go to the next level. Those, in this instance, are only going to appear about 6 hours before the level collapse. It seems like if you get to a stairway, and even though there's not really anything there, that seems a little suspicious, like, oh, maybe they're trying to screw you over if you did find one and try to stay there and just keep leveling and killing off smaller monsters and whatnot. This one's just as crazy as the first two. It's bigger, too, so it's a larger read. I flew through this one too. It didn't take me that long to read it. Like once I picked up speed, like I couldn't put it down. So I don't know if I have a favorite one so far. Like they've all been pretty obnoxious and wild and weird, and like some of the stuff that happens in it. What happens when Katia actually finally does meet up with Brynhild's daughters. I'm not going to say what happens. So, because like Carl and Donut and Katia had combined, like, they have this personal space, and then once Katia joins back up with the other group, they'll lose part of their upgrade stuff, you know, when she goes to be with them, if she chooses to. Like, maybe she will actually end up staying with Carl and Donut. Who freaking knows? We don't know. Well, I know, but I'm not going to tell you. You got to read it to find out. And it's just as chaotic as the other books. Holy crap. It's zany and weird and wild. Like, we find out why the monsters are getting off and on the trains. And it's a lot of it comes back to, too, how, like, all the memories of these NPCs have been replaced. And so even the non-combatant NPCs, they don't really remember. But sometimes some of them start to remember, and that starts to like trickle through in spots. And I'm thinking this is going to be a bigger theme that comes into play towards the end, where maybe Carl and Donut actually are able to rally like some of these NPCs to, like, I don't know, burn it all down to the ground. So let's talk about the Anarchist Cookbook, right? Because that's the namesake of this whole thing. So Carl wins a thing where he's able to pick his own prize. And so there's all these different prizes that are available. And when this happens, this guy, the host of the show, pops in. His name's like Choco or something along those lines. And apparently this is someone that Mordecai absolutely hated. And as soon as he saw this guy, he tried to attack him. And you can't do that, especially if in a safe room. So Mordecai was teleported away and punished for 7 days. So for 7 days, they didn't have a manager for this level. So it's like, oh, F. Well, there goes a very valuable person to them. So they're going to have to fumble their way through this chaotic train system. And Mordecai might have had some really important stuff to tell them. But now, you know, they're going to have to take a lot more risks and this, that, and the other. I mean, it's all a risk. And anyways, so Carl, he chooses a prize for this book. When he gets it, it says it's a book of recipes for chicken and goblins. And it's not a very good thing. Whoops, sorry. Too bad, so sad. And so he gets it and he opens up the book, and it's like, it's not a recipe book. It's the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook, and it's got all these former dungeon crawlers that wrote notes and have helpful stuff. And what it says is like, hey, we're going to burn this all down to the ground. You know, add your own notes to it, this, that, and the other. There's recipes in there for different explosive stuff and different things. But it also says if anyone starts to catch on to this, the book will erase itself. You won't be able to see this. You can't tell anyone. He can't tell Donut. He can't tell Mordecai. And he can't let anyone catch on. So none of the sponsors know about this. No one knows except for the AI in the game. He has to keep this as a secret, and he has to act like anything he discovers on his own, because he can't have people get suspicious of like where he got some of these ideas from. So this book actually also helps them as they go through this dungeon. And it's like, how are they going to get to the stairways? Will they be able to save more people than would have made it if they hadn't started making connections with these different groups and whatnot? It's chaotic. It's a thrill of a book, and it's a great next step in the craziness that is the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. So on to book 4. We are cruising through this series. So I look forward to seeing what the heck is going to happen next. We will be getting into that soon. I would say maybe in the next week or so, I should be picking up the next book. If you've read the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, do you have a favorite book in the series? Let me know. Also, if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.